Welcome back to Vertical Thoughts. Today we are here for episode 13, joined by the first two returning guests ever to be on the show. Nick, Brooke, how are you guys feeling?
I'm great. Nicholas?
Am I allowed to answer?
Yes, but you cannot get existential. Keep it like very base level.
I'm how you say the good.
Thanks for that. That was good. Today we are here to talk about a couple things. I want to use this episode as more of like an open format discussion. We've brought some friends here to talk a little bit about friends. And if you are watching this on YouTube, you may notice there is a very cute cat up there sleeping on top of the Metolius crash pad supplied to us by backcountry.com. Wow. That's all I have to say. She's beautiful. If you're just listening to this and you're not watching the footage, head over to youtube.com and look up Vertical Thoughts, find our YouTube channel, and look at the cat. I mean, it's cute, it's fluffy, it's tender and precious. What more could you want?
Yeah, she is out cold right now. She's had a hard day.
Hard day. Yeah, because we got a new cat, a smaller cat.
A very small cat.
And she doesn't care for it too much.
No, she's had a lot of stress today and a lot of anger.
There's been some drama.
And it's worn her out.
I have brought Brooke and Nick on with me today, given that they are my climbing buddies. These are the people that I climb with more than anyone else. And we climb together frequently for a long time. I would say throughout the course of like the winter, it was pretty much every Sunday, pretty consistently actually, we would climb together. Mm-hmm. And we just climb together a lot. Everyone has their climbing buddies. We have lots of climbing buddies, lots of people that we climb with. We have a whole group of friends. We all climb together pretty frequently, but I climb with you two more than I climb with anyone else, at least consistently. I also want to take this episode as an opportunity to just kind of catch up, and share with you guys what's been going on here at Vertical Thoughts. Obviously, we're in the new studio. What are the impressions of the new studio? What do you guys think?
I love the new studio. I love this like fancy desk that we got going on.
It is very fancy.
Yeah.
Let the record show. It is a fancy desk.
Yes, we actually did get the desk as like just for my use, kind of like my office space. So my books are there, and that's the only personal item of mine that we kept there. But I shared the rest of the desk for the studio, so the rest of the desk is studio decoration. I'm really digging it though. I think we got really good deals on most of this stuff. I love all the wood. I love the climbing gear that's up on the wall. Like the hangboard's super cool. The blueprint of the carabiner, just everything. It's like it's a good vibe. It's the exact vibe that I would have wanted it to have.
Great. Thank you. Nick, thoughts?
I like the table.
The table's nice, right?
No, honestly, like your cable management's pretty darn good.
That's just because it's all under the table.
Yeah, I know.
If this camera could see under this table, no one would respect me ever again.
Yeah, like whenever the cat's under here, she likes to
attack the wires,
destroy everything.
Yes. It is in her mind, like it is the jungle and she is Rambo. Like she has to get through it as violently as possible.
Yeah. The most difficult path.
Yeah. And if all this is not making a good case for you to head from Spotify or iTunes or Podbean over to YouTube, then I don't know what is. I mean, we're going to start slowly converting the show to a more and more video-based kind of content the longer we go, because I really want to add the visual aspect to things. I know a lot of people are still going to just be listening, in your car on Spotify or whenever it's convenient for you. But truly, I want the full experience of, audio, visual, all around, have a nice studio to look at and all that stuff. So head on over to YouTube and check this out if you haven't already watched it. I would recommend watching them on YouTube because it's the complete experience. Just a personal suggestion. So we're going to be using today's episode, like I said, as kind of a catch-up episode to be talking just pretty briefly about what we at Vertical Thoughts have been up to, what's been going on with the company, the show, and all the et cetera. So basically, I just wanted to recap really quick. We were at the Vital Climbing Gym Quattro de Mayo climbing competition. A good experience. We ended up selling out of the Vertical Thoughts logo t-shirts, which I bought like 40. Overall, really cool experience. And I just want to say thank you so much to Vital Climbing Gym, specifically Kelly Wyrick. Kelly, if you're ever listening to this, thank you so much for allowing us to sponsor the event and for setting everything up for me and just for being cool in general. Kelly's pretty cool.
Yeah, we love you,
Yeah.
Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly's awesome.
Okay.
And Audrey, of course, her mans, and also my mans, just a little bit. Just saying.
Yeah, we love you, Atre.
Audrey's going to join us on the show next week, so look forward to that. Zach Medina, who took some awesome photos for us, and just everyone who volunteered to make it a really cool, really special experience. At one point, we had probably half the gym, maybe like a quarter of the gym wearing Vertical Thoughts t-shirts.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot.
It was an overwhelming amount.
That day was great. It was awesome. It was more than what we hoped it would be.
On that note, we're also going to be at the next Vital Climbing Gym competition, which is the Birthday Beach Bash, which is at their Oceanside location, which is turning 2, I believe, 2 years old, something like that. Check it out on Saturday, June 15th, which is when we're going to be there for the Beach Bash, the Birthday Beat Bath. We're going to have some miscellaneous stuff that you can pick up, or you can just come say hi and check us out and judge for yourself whether this guy really does look as good as he sounds. And by this guy, I mean, me.
Shut up, Logic.
But we're going to be there, and I hope you guys come say hi to us, talk a little bit about the show, come talk some climbing. We like talking climbing. That's kind of why we're here.
Yeah, we would have been having this conversation anyway, so might as well have it while recording and put it on the podcast because we're always talking climbing.
We are talking climbing a lot, and I apologize for my laughter there. It's just Nick's water bottle makes funny noise when he
I
drinks
can't
that.
help it.
Sorry about that, buddy.
It's a noisy boy, dude.
Hey, let's get him a glass next time.
We're going to have Vertical Thoughts glasses next time. The show is really evolving.
That's true.
You want me just to go get a glass?
No.
No, you're at the table, Nick. We need to excuse you if you're going to go get anything.
No, we're here. We've come this far. You're good. Don't worry about it. We're going to move on to the topic, though.
Okay.
So moving right along into our topic here, today we're going to talk a little bit about climbing alone versus climbing with friends. And that's why I brought my 2 most consistent climbing buddies with me here today, because Brooke and Nick are the people that I climb with the most. I actually started climbing with Nick before I started climbing with Brooke. And interestingly enough, when I first moved to Marietta, California.
I met him first.
Yeah, that's right. He called dibs, and then I just freaking sidestepped his dibs.
Yeah.
I'm a savage.
The two of you
She's
are
gonna
much
fall.
closer than me and Liam. You are right.
Sorry, we're just taking a moment to admire the cat stretching.
I thought she was going to fall, honestly. I saw the Metolius
Really glad she didn't.
pad shake.
But I moved to Marietta, California, didn't really know anyone, and I met Nick pretty shortly after that. One of the first few people that I met here, and we began climbing together. And at the time, we were Nick was a little bit stronger than I was, and it helped me push myself to be better, faster.
And now I'm a weak boy.
I don't know about that. I would argue that you're still stronger than I am. Do you remember when we arm wrestled and you almost pushed me through the table?
Well,
It was jarring
Through
for
the
me.
table.
power to weight ratio.
Power to weight ratio.
Your power to
that's
weight
very
ratio is
important.
much better than mine.
Fair enough. I'd get behind that. But but I appreciated climbing with Nick and our other friend, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. If you're listening, we miss you. Come home and bring your boyfriend with you.
Rest in peace.
But
I mean,
he's not dead.
no, it's honestly, it's probably their bedtime right now, so they probably are resting in peace.
I hope they're
Very-
resting peacefully.
That's
Very
true.
peaceful slumber.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Especially Zach. I hope he's sleeping
Hmm.
real peacefully.
He's a beautiful man.
Oh,
Hi, Zach.
Has he been on the podcast?
Zach
He
has
was,
been on
yeah.
the podcast. We talked about rock climbing in the Olympics. He did a great job.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I listened to that at work while I was not wanting to be there.
I listened to that at work while not wanting to be there. Is also the title of Nick's autobiography coming to stores this fall. But anyways, I do appreciate, the climbing friendships that we've made, and the community is everything for me. I mean, I knew no one before I started climbing. I've said that on the show before, and it's not an exaggeration. I literally, when I first moved here, I didn't know a single person at all. It was just me. I did not have the cat at the time, so it was not like, oh, it's just me and my cat. Nope, just me.
He was a lonely boy.
Yep.
yes.
And I found ways to entertain myself. I wasn't like depressed, but I certainly wasn't at the level that I am now, but I had no idea that I was missing it. And it wouldn't be if not for the climbing community, I should say that I would have found, the group of friends that I have now. And I mean, all that just led to where we are now, starting this show and, being in the house that I'm in and, being with who I'm with and having cats and you know. So I personally, I always will lean towards climbing with my friends because it's just, the community is so addictive to me. It's just like, I crave interaction with the climbing community. It's part of why I started this show, actually. But it's different. It's much different than climbing alone. And I do know there are people, regulars at our gym even, that come in and often just climb alone. They don't really talk to anyone. They just come in, they climb. Oftentimes, I think you'll find that that person's like pretty strong, or at least like, I don't know, relatively good at climbing, just because they're there for business, dude. They're just like, headphones on, screw you guys. And all your stupid dynos that you're doing. Meanwhile, we're doing an add-on that takes up the entire wall.
I know, right?
Like we own the place.
That's some of the most fun stuff, though. Like,
Absolutely.
just doing something stupid with the boys. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's anything better than that.
It's priceless.
Other than ascend train with the boys.
Yes. Brooke, specifically when you started climbing, we'll say regularly, so in other words, when you started climbing more with me, did you immediately take to the idea of climbing with other people, or was it more of something that, you know, sometimes you feel more comfortable doing alone, or, you know, how do you feel about the opposition between the two?
Well, I had really rarely climbed before you and I started climbing together. It was definitely a novel thing for me to go do. I'd done it several times, you know, because I'd been climbing for a few years.
Right.
But just every so often, like every few months, probably. Didn't have a membership. I just like buy a day pass. So it wasn't something that I would have ever gone and done by myself. So like the community was pretty much the reason that I was there, because I was not good at climbing and I didn't really enjoy it because of that. You know, I just got really blown out in like the first 20 minutes of climbing. So that's the whole reason that I started going. It's the whole reason I enjoy climbing now and that I'm actually good at it, was because I started going just for the community.
Yeah. I mean, it becomes like a very significant chunk of your life, where like when you walk into the climbing gym, it's like a different chapter. You know what I mean? It's like your day shifts completely from like everything else to, now I'm at the climbing gym. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's different. Everything's different. You know everyone knows you. You know, you're there to climb. It's a sport that you know well, that you do a lot. You know, like it's a familiar place. It's like a second home, I guess is kind of what I feel like about it. And the days where I do climb, I don't climb every day, but the days that I do climb, I'll be at work, 2-3 o'clock will roll down and I get off at 5:30 and I'm stoked. I'm like, I got to get to the gym to climb, because I'm
Just like 3 more hours. Let's go. I get to be climbing in 3 hours.
just catch me like as I walk out every single door. I kind of just do a little side pull like on the way out and just, you know, start warming up the fingers. People just catch me like grabbing on door jams and like, what are you doing? I'm like,
I'm just doing a stretch.
oh, just you know, just crimping. What are you doing? No, it's an addictive thing. It really is. The best way I can describe it is I never want it to stop when I am there. And oftentimes I end up being there a lot longer than I planned, but that really speaks to, I think, the community that we've established. And I think our gym is kind of singular in that way. Not that all gyms don't have great communities, which I'm sure they do. But it's just, I've climbed at many gyms. I've been a member of many, many different gyms. I think it's something to do with the smaller size of our gym that really kind of concentrates the community in like a really personal and up close way, that I think is really special.
Yeah.
I mean, like the people that we climb with become our friends outside of climbing too, you know, and we all know each other.
Not only that, like even the staff, like with other like bigger gyms, like usually the staff will be like off in their own like little box, and then like
at the front counter.
Yeah. But then like with our gym, it's like
there's no counter.
Yeah, they're right there. Like, so kind of like forces the staff to like interact with the community more, and I like that a lot.
That's a good point. That was one of the things that jumped out at me when I first walked into to Vital, was like, there's no front counter. Like, what do I do? Help! I want to buy things. Please take my money, somebody. But no, I really appreciate it, and I think there's certain variants. I guess there's a dichotomy between climbing alone and climbing with people, and there are benefits to climbing alone. And I think for me, what it comes down to is I will train alone with both earphones in. I will climb with other people. If I feel like I'm doing training, like I'm pushing myself physically, or like I'm, like I'm going to sweat today, I probably will tend to rather do that alone.
Yeah. Like usually when I'm doing that kind of stuff, I'm like both earphones in.
Yep. I have one in to climb with the bros. I have none in if there's like a real serious add-on or dyno competition going. The earbuds come out. Someone does a dyno in the gym, I don't even see it, dude. I have both earphones in. Someone does a dyno and I feel it. I'm like, who did that? Who did that dyno? Stop. You.
It
Stop.
shakes the earth when one of our boys do a dyno.
Shakes me to my core. But I don't know. It's just, how do you guys feel when you climb alone? How does that, what's your mindset like?
Usually really bored and serious. Well, less bored, more serious.
Sure.
Like I get bored a lot easier when I'm climbing alone, but like,
You're just always bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like whenever I'm climbing alone, basically it's usually just like training or, endurance, that kind of stuff.
I very rarely climb alone because you always want to climb. So there is hardly ever a situation where I am climbing alone. But the times that I have, it's really different.
Yeah.
It's really different. I don't think I push myself quite as hard just because there's no one there kind of cheering me on.
Yeah.
There's nobody there that I'm really paying attention to, watching them do cool stuff to get me hyped up to do something that challenges me. So it's just, it's quiet.
Yeah, it is. How do you guys find, if at all, that your performance varies? I mean, because for me, there's a big difference. I mean, I climb harder when other people are around. I mean, I call it the show off factor, but I'm not really showing off. I'm more of just like, it really is an accountability thing almost. It's like there's people watching me, so I feel like I need to perform better. And I don't think that stems from a place of insecurity. I think it stems from a place of maybe pride, I guess. Like I'm proud of my performance in climbing. And so, and such, I want to put on a little bit of a show, not only for them, but for myself, you know what I mean? Because for me, it means something to be good. You know what I mean? It means something to be, and it's with everything, with this show, with everything that I do. It's like, it means something to me that other people experience what I'm doing and are like, okay, like this, it's good. It's the real deal. It's not, an amateur production or something like that. I feel the same way with climbing. I take it very seriously and I appreciate when that shows. And so for me, it's like when there's a gym full of people, I'm actually usually more motivated than ever. And I don't know if it's competition or, like I said, pride or something like that, but it helps me climb harder. It really does. And Brooke specifically, I mean, I care a lot about what Brooke thinks. So when you are there, I climb better. You got to look for these like little niche things, because any small benefit that will help you, I don't know, get your endorphins going or something. Like, I don't know what it is, but just Brooke walks in, my testosterone just skyrockets. I pulled 20% harder or something. No idea what it is, but I truly, when I'm climbing alone, I think it's accountability. I think I have a lack of accountability. I don't feel the need to perform at my peak.
Yeah, I can kind of see that because like usually, whenever I'm climbing with like friends and stuff, like, and I'm looking at a project and I'm just like thinking to myself, like, there's no way I can do that. That looks impossible. Like, I just go over to a friend like, look at that impossible climb over there, and then they're just like, dude, what are you talking about? You can do that. And I'm just like, you know what? I can.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
There's like, in climbing, there are few things more powerful than when I like get on the start of a climb and then get off immediately, and I walk up to Liam and I say, that's hard. And then he looks at me and says, you can do that.
Yeah, honestly.
There are seldom things that motivate me more than just that simple phrase. I'm like, oh, you think so? He's like, yeah, of course. You're strong. You can do that. I'm like, oh, well, let me try again. I guess I didn't really even try it. I just kind of got on it.
It's honestly, yeah, like it's crazy how much confidence that little tiny phrase can give you.
Yeah.
Like when you're climbing with friends.
When someone who watches you climb very frequently knows that you can do something. Just
right.
Like,
That's what I was
going to
going
do
to
harder
say.
stuff.
That's what I was going to say. The people that you climb with the most, that's why I said when you tell me you can do that, because I know you know my climbing super well. You've seen it from the start. You climb with me more than anybody else. And so for you to say something like that, I'm like, well, he must be right. I guess I'll have to make him right.
You must be right. The guy's always right. Let's bring the patriarchy back. Hashtag bring the patriarchy back. Nick says,
the matriarchy.
He's not touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
Hey, man. Don't get me wrong. I like crash jokes.
Crash jokes?
I said crass.
Crash Bandicoot?
Now you're making fun of me?
What? Am I the only one that can be made fun of?
Yes.
As far
You're
as
the woman
speech
here.
goes?
That's the
As far
patriarchy
as the
talking.
speech goes?
Back on topic, though.
Yes.
I love projecting with friends, though.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
It's the
awesome.
best.
just like whenever like you're projecting a climb with like a friend, I always feel like I climb better because I'm able to like bounce beta off of people, like ask questions like, hey, what do you think I should do for that? And you know, they'll be like, adjust your foot, quit being a dummy.
Yeah, pull harder. It's almost like having a group project.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, occasionally there's someone in the gym that's a little toxic and you got to put up with them. You know what I mean? And occasionally
like that
in
sometimes.
science class, you know, in high school or middle school, you just got paired up with the wrong person. You're
Oh
like,
my gosh.
great. I got to do. Yeah, we know. But I don't know. I mean, there's something about, stop.
You may not.
You need to be shut down, buddy.
You may not do that here.
I need to just have a little sign here in the studio that just says stop. Just a stop sign. Just
like-
like lift it up.
No, I want it on the
No
wall and it can
impressions
be
in
lit
the
up and you press
studio.
a button and it lights up.
Push a button. Starts flashing. Stop. Stop. As like one of those like crosswalk things that talks to you. Stop. Stop.
Dude, those are so annoying.
Walk.
I hate them.
Walk.
Someone starts making a good point. Just walk. Walk. I'm just like, you got it, dude. Keep talking.
I know why they exist. And honestly, they should exist everywhere. Like
Right.
it should be by law that all
Yeah.
of them need to have it. It's something I never thought of until I first heard one. I was like, oh my God, why? And I was like, oh, because not everybody can see.
Oh yeah, blind people
I did not think
exist.
of
Oh my God.
Which kind of reminds me of in Katie's episode how she was talking about how her point of view is limited, even though she was a woman and you brought her on to talk about sexism. She was like, well, I'm white. I grew up in a good family financially. You know, I live in a progressive area. I'm not as discriminated as other people in the world. That kind of
Yeah.
is what that reminded me of. Like it never crossed my mind.
Should have said that. You should have just barged in and been like, you know who has a more limited view, Katie? Blind people. Why don't you speak on behalf of them?
Now you're
You're like,
attacking blind people.
You
She's
got to
so-
stand up for them, dude. Someone's got to
She's
do
so
it.
sweet and so nice. She'd be like,
Yeah, that really would have cut her off guard. I already hit her with the booty jokes.
yeah.
Would have been too much for her.
Like
did.
30 seconds in, just
Yep.
She did too well.
She did amazing.
I want to say, even though Liam started off with the booty joke, very, very shortly in on the podcast, we did have dinner with her beforehand. You know, we were hanging out for a while. And I think he was ready for it. He had
Oh, yeah.
made his decision wisely.
The booty joke was going to make an appearance at some point. It's too good not to pass. It's
Understandable.
too good to pass up. And she was such a good sport about it.
Yeah.
And Katie, if you're listening, thank you for coming on the show and thank you for, talking about something that's difficult to talk about. And I mean, just thanks for being so cool. She was really awesome.
we appreciate
She really
you.
was.
We do appreciate you.
Yeah.
You smart.
Come climb
You
anytime.
lawyer.
You very smart. We the best. Win,
We
win,
the
win.
best music.
Enough. Stop.
We're gonna
Stop.
get
I
copyright.
thought you were talking to
copyright
me. I
struck.
was like,
No, I was talking about me.
Stop.
like,
Stop.
watch your
Stop.
mouth.
I am
So-
a male.
So let me ask you this. We're talking about climbing alone versus climbing with other people. I've kind of shared my thoughts. I feel stronger when I'm climbing with other people. Have you guys noticed any kind of difference in your performance, or does it seem pretty stagnant throughout the two?
Truly,
Sample size is too small, maybe.
yeah, for me, I think sample size probably is too small. I would like to climb by myself a little bit more than I have.
Would you think if you were to maybe step outside of the box a little bit and just think about your progression in climbing and how you've gotten to where you are, do you think that you would be where you are without, just people, or like for example, me, like a climbing partner? We climb with each other all the time. We're almost always, if we're climbing together. So do you think without that kind of accountability, do you think you would have progressed at the same rate? Because you're physically capable of it either way, obviously. But it's a mental thing.
There is absolutely no way in hell I would have ever been where I am if it wasn't for climbing with other people and climbing with you in particular.
I mean, it makes all the difference in the world.
It truly does, because, I mean, we were talking about this before. I've never in my life considered myself to be an athletic person.
Right.
My friends, not all of them, but a lot of my friends were athletic in high school. They were part of teams and stuff, and that's not something that my family did. I didn't see myself as being good at anything. Can't run, not strong, not coordinated. Like,
can't
who
see.
Can relate?
Totally blind.
Stop, Liam. So even though I had tried climbing a few times, just the mindset that I had about myself, I never would have tried harder at it.
Right.
Or kept going thinking maybe I want to get good at this. I was just like, I'm not good at this. I'm not going to be, because that's who I am. So
it's really hard to be motivated if you just
Yeah.
aren't good at it. It's hard to want to do it.
And nobody, well, I won't say nobody, but hardly anybody is good at climbing when they first start.
It's
difficult. It's really
incredibly rare.
And it hurts.
You can be good for your first time, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But no one's like just pops on a V6 and they're
Yeah.
just like,
No way.
this is fun. like
Yeah.
Like for me, when I started climbing, I felt good because we were all new climbers.
Right.
Like all the people that I was climbing with, we were all new climbers, but I was like the better. And so I was like, hell yeah, I'm awesome.
well, you were,
I was climbing yellows though. I was just like,
yeah, it's like
I'm
V2,
strong.
V3,
Just
Yeah.
which is
flashing
strong.
some yellow.
That's strong. It took me a year to climb V3. You know what I mean? So like that's good. You were chiseled though. I've seen pictures of you when you were young.
I was a young
man.
high school boy.
I remember seeing a picture that your brother posted recently of you and you were both like pretty young.
I think that was like 14 years old right there.
Yeah.
You had a 6-pack at 14
a little bit.
Why?
Because you were like,
because you were so
Ripped.
buff.
I wasn't
Yeah.
fat, is what you're saying?
Ripped.
You called me fat?
You're still
just like, I'm saying as
so
like a
buff.
child.
No, dude, like my mom says I had a 6-pack at like 5 years old. Like straight up.
I think the most baller thing that's ever been said on the show.
Like I don't believe her, because I don't think there's any shirt or any like pictures of me shirtless like as a 5-year-old, which
Yeah.
is good. That's disgusting, Mom. Throw that away.
Burn those pictures.
But
Did they have cameras back then? You're like 1,000, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm actually one of the great Norse gods.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
What were we talking about?
Today's episode is brought to you by Box.
Just starting all over. Okay.
Quit selling drugs. Sorry. Anyways, moving forward. If you know, you know. If you listen to Tom Segura, you know. If you don't, you should.
Yeah, sorry if you didn't get any of those references and you're now listening. Like, why am I still listening? It's okay. We're going to get,
Look it up.
yeah.
Box.
Watch everything we watch so you can get all of our inside jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and become our friend
Yeah.
so that you can also get more of our inside jokes and be a part of the
come
group
on the show.
chat.
Yeah, and come on the show.
Yeah,
and,
that too.
Buy our shirts, which are,
Shop.spreadshirt.com/vertical thoughts.
which are available at shop.spreadshirt.com/vertical thoughts on our spread shop. There's lots of cool stuff on there.
Mine was better.
Yours just a little more flowy.
Yeah,
You just,
because I'm used to doing this.
yeah.
Shop.spreadshirt.com/vertical thoughts.
You are my number one plug.
I know, right? just like put a button on my back or a string. Just I'll do
Nick
that.
is my street crew. Out on the streets representing vertical thoughts.
I know, like just in my car, I have like a pile of your cards, just like sitting there, just ready to hand out.
Ready to go, dude. Just
Yeah,
toss them
the
out the
real
window.
Check out the podcast.
I really want you to just grab a handful and just like pelt someone with them out the window. Just pull up at a stop sign, some old lady with her dog, just be like, "You like rock climbing?" She'd be like, "What?" And just,
I've seen the movie Free Solo. Check this out.
we talked about Free Solo on our show.
Check out episode 8.
Something like that.
Probably.
I don't know.
On a real note, though, there truly is some really cool stuff on the website. Like, you can pick any kind of shirt. They have those cloudy ones. They're like kind of tie-dye, but they're
They're
cloudy.
like a marble or something like that.
Those are my favorite, and I regret not ordering that one. I got a really cool one, but then someone else got the cloudy one, and I saw it, and I was like...
There's all kinds of stuff in there. It's all made to order. It's done through Spreadshirt, you know, through a partnership with Spreadshirt. So it's all like, it's an interesting thing because we do have merchandise that we sell here locally in Southern California. You can DM me at yfoxel, WHYFOXAL. And you know, if you're here in Southern California, I can get it to you locally for a lot cheaper. But we're a self-funded show, and I think people forget that. We don't have backing or sponsorship or... there's no one's paying for this. Well, I mean, I'm paying for this.
Someone's paying for it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Liam. I've been
It's
playing
us.
the lottery just for you.
I've been watching a lot.
I've been watching a lot of Netflix.
No, but someone, like, I kind of brought that up. I wouldn't say casually in conversation, but it came up. We're totally self-funded. And someone was like, well, you guys sold a ton of shirts at the comp, right? And I was like, well, who do you think bought all those shirts?
That was out of pocket.
Yeah, like it's just, I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic that we're rolling with here. But I mean, I'm not doing this to make money.
Yeah.
Good thing, right? Because it's not.
Yeah.
But
Gotta get the name out there.
yeah, we're here to build Vertical Thoughts, to build a brand, and to give climbers a place to come listen to us talk about climbing. Listen to climbers talk about climbing.
Hang out in the comment section.
Yeah, chill.
Tell us your favorite episode.
What
Tell
is
us your favorite line.
your favorite episode? What is your favorite line of your favorite episode of Vertical Thoughts so far? If you're watching this on YouTube, drop it in the comments section. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, you can hit me up on Instagram again at yfoxel. Let me know.
I have mine.
Or Brooke, which is Brookmark01, BROOKMARK01. Or Nick, which is I'm a Ninja So Yeah.
Don't do it.
IMMANINJASOYHEA.
YHEA? It's that would be yeehaw.
YEHA.
Wouldn't it?
I'm a ninja, so yeehaw.
Yeah. Dude, the amount of times I've written that out though is bonkers.
It's really hard to spell like on the
I-
fly. There's
Yeah.
a lot of letters.
I need
But,
to say that when I had said I have mine, I meant I have my favorite line
Yeah.
or my favorite episode.
Oh, my bad. I was like, Brooke wants you to DM her as well.
I know, and then
What
he
is
just
your
went off
favorite
and started naming my Instagram, and I was like, why is he doing this? And
What's
then I
going on?
It's
realized,
the patriarchy.
oh, I see what he thought.
What is your favorite line of your favorite episode? And it cannot be "That's awesome" by Paul Robinson.
Because
It's
that's his
not.
favorite.
It's absolutely
by Paul Robinson.
No, that's not actually what I was going to say. What I was going to say was, you're done.
That was not actually on the show, unfortunately.
Wasn't it?
It wasn't.
It was not. No.
I've heard it so many
Josh
times.
Pummel was
I thought
was on the
it was
show.
on the
Get
show.
wrecked.
Josh Pummel told us a story,
no.
including a 4-fingered aggressive point, and him saying the words "You're done" to a rather outlandish and violent gentleman who was, we'll say, verbally assaulting a woman at a climbing crag, and that was Josh's, ultimatum. Was he decided to go up to this guy and point at him with all 4 of his fingers, other than his thumb, and just say, "You're done." And he said, I didn't know what else to say, so I just kept saying that. You're done.
Honestly, though, that coming out of Josh is like very surprising. Like, don't get me
Yes.
wrong, he's like super nice guy. I would totally get him defending people like that.
Sure.
But like, he's like the nicest dude ever.
Yeah.
He's very soft.
So
He's a big teddy
I
bear.
would not
He
expect
is
him at
giant.
all to like.
He
But
is large.
Not in personality.
I don't know if I'd mess with
Very
him.
sweet.
I think if that dude kind of like came up a little bit, you know what I mean, and I was getting in someone's face, if he got in my way, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. What? Hey, man, I was just kidding. Take it easy.
He stands up out of his chair and just towers over you, just like a foot taller than you.
He's my
Well,
height in his chair.
Since the You're Done story was not actually on the show, then I am I am going to have to go with Oh, Absolutely by Paul Robinson.
Absolutely. Paul is such a good speaker. And thank you to him also for coming on the show.
But wait.
His episode's
loved
awesome.
His episode was so good. And I'm not so much of a camera person like you and him are. I don't get a lot of the stuff that you guys were talking about. But it's still,
I can relate.
if somebody were to ask me no, I'm going to start over on that part. If somebody were to ask me which episode of Vertical Thoughts was my absolute favorite, number one, I would not be able to choose. But Paul Robinson's episode would be tied number one with some others.
Yeah. A lot of bangers. We're just
Truly.
cranking them out one by one.
Or if you want to DM us your favorite climbing line that any of your favorite climbers have ever said, my personal favorite is,
I know where this is going, dude.
I hate this stupid bouldering sport.
That is an Alex Migos quote.
Oh, we say that too much.
From an
I love
Eric
it so
Carlson
much.
bouldering video. If you guys watch Eric Carlson
It's so
bouldering
good.
on YouTube,
I love
find
him.
a video of him climbing with Alexander Migos outdoors. And
Yeah.
in the video, at some point, Alex Migos falls off a hard climb. I think it was like a V11 or V12 or something outdoors. And he says, I hate this stupid bouldering sport.
Which
It is too funny.
I have related to that quote so many times.
Yes.
Like the amount of times I have fallen off of a climb that I just completely did not understand. Like that quote has just gone through my mind. Just, I hate this stupid bouldering sport. It's just like,
And if someone as strong as him can feel that way, then
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
totally justified.
I
No.
know. I've never felt, I don't know, better about climbing than when I first watched that episode and heard him say that. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's
Even the pros hate it.
because I love and hate like getting off a climb and just being like, a climb is dumb.
that was rough.
And that's kind of what he was saying.
Yeah, it's pretty much what he was like.
Just like, that shit was rough. I said a bad word. That stuff was rough. Cut it out. I fixed it.
I don't know which one was worse.
That has to be one of my all-time favorite lines. You know what's another classic though? From renowned climber, maybe the best climber in the world,
I'm afraid.
Adam Andra.
Oh God. Earphones off, boys. You just scared the cat.
Oh, Kitty. Oh, she barely looks like she's
We all,
been
I know
disturbed.
she's like has stirred ever so slightly. She's just like, is Adam Andra here again?
No. She like jolted at you and then she's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's just being dumb, and then put her head down again.
He's just doing his Adam Andra impression.
You're lucky
on
she's
silence.
so tired right now and has worn herself out with all of her angst.
That is kind of an interesting segue though into another kind of side of like climbing with other people is what about climbing with people that are like significantly stronger than you? Like have you guys ever experienced climbing with like professional climbers before?
Only you.
Thanks, buddy.
At first, before you said professional, I was like, me climbing with you every day. That's what I go through.
No, I mean like much, you know, like
Yeah, I
top
see
of the
what you
sport.
mean now. I mean, at the Quattro de Mayo competition, Brooke Ravatu was there.
She was.
I was not climbing, so I wouldn't say I was climbing with her,
Yeah.
but I was watching her climb. But as far as climbing with somebody who is that much better than I am,
Yeah.
not something I've had the privilege of doing yet.
It's different. It's different. It's not just like climbing with your friends, because I think we all tend to gravitate towards people who are roughly our same grade, you know, or at least in our same grade range, so you can all kind of project the same climbs. Not to say that you can't be friends with someone who's stronger or you know
Right.
climbs significantly smaller grades or smaller number grades than you do, but having climbed in the past with you know some couple different pros and like really kind of stepped outside into that world, especially outdoors, you know, a couple times, it's just like you just would rather watch. You just, for me,
Yeah,
I don't know, for
truly.
me, I'm just going to watch. I'm not going to try anything because y'all warmed up on my proj. So I'm just going to chill here if you don't mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not quite as relatable, but like, you know, just like the friends that I have that climb like V8 plus.
Yeah.
I love climbing with them because like, you know, I get to bounce ideas off of them, like get beta from them.
Yeah.
That and then just watching them climb is fun.
Yeah.
Like,
it's fun to watch really strong climbers.
watching Kobe is like literally one of my favorite things to do in the gym because
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
really fun to watch.
he's absolutely insane.
Yep. Agreed. Super fun to watch. Very charismatic on the wall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
off
I
the
don't know
wall.
how that's a thing, but it is.
Not an intimidating persona at all
No.
either. Whereas I will say, like in my past experiences when I've climbed with, some higher grade professional climbers, there is kind of just like an intimidation factor. Not because they're like trying to be intimidating, but just because they are who they are.
Yeah.
And you're just like, don't hurt me. But also hurt me, please. Ruin my life. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, Kobe,
Crimp on my face.
even if... Oh, no.
That got her.
Crimp on my face.
Oh, no.
I mean,
That's a good one.
logically, it's not like there's
Props
nothing
up.
wrong with
it's
that
not
sentence.
sexual. Are you making that sexual?
What is your problem, Brooke? This is the matriarchy.
To make sure I get work.
Yeah, so Kobe is a truly kind person. He's really grounded and really humble. He's very sweet. And somehow you can tell when he's climbing, like even if you don't hear him speak.
It's a smile. He's always smiling.
Yeah, that might be it.
He's always having fun.
And if it doesn't make sense to you at all, what I'm saying, you just
You gotta meet him.
If you
see
don't know,
it.
then you know.
He climbs
That didn't make sense.
so hard. And while it is like kind of shocking, you're like, wow, that just came out of him right now, that crazy climb. At the same time, it's not aggressive.
Yeah.
It's very soft.
He's the least in-your-face person you'll ever meet. But
Definitely.
he'll always be by my side.
He's very in your face with the kindness, though.
He's very in-your-face in the way that he's always by your side.
I can only think of one person that has ever not liked Kobe, and it's not even a person. It is our cat child, Layla. And
Yes.
she has since
He
gotten
just-
over it.
He came at her all wrong. Was the thing,
And he was wearing a windbreaker,
and it was making
and it
those.
made some scary sounds.
Yeah, and she was like,
Yeah, other than
she
that,
like got
though,
real spooked.
she really bad. Other than that, I can't think of a single person that has something negative to say about him.
Yeah, and I mean, again, that just speaks more to the community than anything. There's lots of people like that in the community, I'm sure. Everyone's
Yeah.
got their Kobe's, but there's only one Liam.
There can only be one.
Get a load of this guy.
But I mean, truly, there's something about the community that makes me never want to climb alone again. I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? I get why people climb alone. I get why people go outdoors alone and project alone and put up, new climbs alone. And I get it. It's the accessibility, the availability. You know what I mean? You don't have to cater to someone else's schedule or needs or something like that. But
Yeah.
for me, climbing is climbing with my buddies. You know what I mean? And my climbing partners.
Counter argument. Sometimes I feel like I need to climb alone.
Right.
Because, like, when I do climb with, my friends and I'm like, oh, man, I'm falling behind. I got to be as strong as these boys so I can still mess around on the same stuff as them. Like, I need, like, a day or two to, like, actually, like,
Work
train.
hard. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So maybe a healthy balance of both.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something that I need to learn to climb alone more. You know what I mean? Because
No, get weaker so I can climb with you more.
slow down, drink more beer,
Yeah, do that.
slow it down, partner, pump the brakes. No, I just, climbing alone, I will say that when I do go to climb alone and to train, I am more productive. I will say that. I wouldn't say that I climb harder necessarily, but I would say that I work a little harder. I make myself work a little harder. But I do climb. I don't know. Climbing feels more effortless to me when all my friends are around. You know what I mean? I do harder moves with less effort. It's the weirdest thing. It's the stoke factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
The stoke is high in the room, so you just do things, you do crazy stuff. Those boys make me do things.
Oh,
You would not
absolutely.
believe.
No, honestly, though, like, I feel like cheering on your friends is, like, one of the best things about climbing. It's
Absolutely.
one of the funnest things to do, too.
Yeah.
Because, like, watching your friend challenge themselves and, like, succeed, you feel happy for them,
Yeah.
And it's
For
good.
sure.
Like, that's a good kind of thing to, like, to have with people.
Yeah, and the one note that I will leave the listeners with today is be that climbing buddy. Be the person that is always encouraging your friends, is always making sure that the stoke is high, is always making sure that everyone's motivated, that everyone's having a good time around you. Be that person, because the climbing community could use all of those people that you can get.
Right.
Yeah, the more
And-
positivity, the better.
Yeah.
And if you're the opposite of that person, it's like the same amount of effect
Right.
as a lot of positivity goes.
You can do as much bad as you can good.
Yeah. The positivity in the gym, even though there's so much of it, you bringing more is just as effective. What my point is, we've encountered those kind of toxic personalities that, in my opinion, have since gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a major downer, really bad. And it had never crossed my mind that those people would have such a huge effect, because we hadn't met any of them.
Sure.
And then when we did, it was like, oh my gosh, why you be like this?
It's toxicity.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah. And kind of, again, what Katie was talking about, anything that exists in society is going to exist in climbing and in other small groups like churches or, other sports, because there are good and bad people everywhere. I'm not saying that those are bad people, but I'm just saying, if you ever catch yourself not thinking positively of other climbers, if you catch yourself talking some smack, maybe you really think about why you're doing that.
Yeah. If you find
Change
yourself
your
in
mindset.
that situation, then might I suggest that you check yourself before you
Yeah.
wreck yourself.
Really, you go and wreck yourself. Nobody's going to want to be your climbing buddy.
Yeah.
And climbing buddies are super, super important.
Yeah.
Like, one thing that's kind of funny too, though, is like with like climbing friends, just like it can kind of be like a domino effect, Like one person can just be like, come on, dude, let's go. Nice. And then like everyone else will look over and they'll also like cheer on that same person.
It's
Like,
contagious. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things.
It's really cool.
I have a lot of favorite things about climbing.
Just because it's a freaking awesome thing.
It's because climbing's my favorite.
You like climbing?
Yeah.
Dude, this is a show about climbing.
Wow. Do you know where I could get some great climbing merch?
Shop.spreadshirt.com/vertical thoughts.
Wow, that's fantastic. I'll remember that
Check it out.
because it's at shop.spreadshirt.com/vertical thoughts.
Give it a look. You'll love what you find. And on that note, thank you, Nick, Brooke, for joining me. It's been a very positive, good episode. The one thing that we will say to take away from this episode is, whether you climb alone or with other people, always be a positive force inside your gym, the local
Yes,
crag,
please.
wherever you're climbing. Just be a force of positivity.
Be the good boy
Be a
that
good
you've
boy.
always wanted to be.
Yeah.
And
You're a
that
girl.
your mother knew you could be.
Yeah. Your mother's a lovely woman. Hug her more also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to episode 13. Nick, Brooke, again, thank you guys for joining me. Brooke, you live here, so
Yeah. Happy I could make it over, Liam.
happy you can make the journey.
All the way downstairs.
I'll see you upstairs.
Meet
Nick?
you there.
I'll
Yes?
see you upstairs.
I live in the cat's room.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. We love you.
Is it over now? I can go home?